Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a while. I have a special treat for you guys today. I am going to be playing Elves on the channel. First time on the channel and almost first time playing ever. I played my first ever league the other week, but unfortunately the video got corrupted, so I'm going to be playing my second ever league here for you all today. I am very excited for this. Elves is a deck that I have really enjoyed in Legacy. I think it's a really healthy deck to exist in Legacy. And I think that it's the type of deck that I personally would have fun playing. You know, it gets to do fun things with like Visionary and Symbiote. It gets to draw a bunch of cards. But I've always been a little bit shy just because it's like a deck that doesn't play Force of Will. I've talked to Newton a bit. If you know anything about Elves, you know that Newton is one of the premier Elves players on Magic Online. And he gave me some reassurance about the combo matchups. And honestly, in the first league, I kind of felt that, just like between Leyline for the graveyard combo decks and Thoughtseize for just like spell-based combo, and then Endurance for things like Doomsday. It didn't feel that bad, and it definitely gave me some confidence that, you know, I could devote more time to this, learn it a little bit, get a little better. I don't have much to say about the actual list here. Pretty much have taken Newton's list card for card with a very few small changes just based on like card availability. Like I only own 3 Endurances and I didn't want to buy the 4th. And then, you know, I think Run Afoul is like a reasonable substitute to Assassin's Trophy, because the main thing you want Trophy for is Murktide Region, and I kind of like Run Afoul there as well. Other than that, this build is the more mid-rangey version with like Elvish Reclaimer and Once Upon a Time instead of things like Nettle Sentinel or Quirion Ranger. So like you're not looking to glimpse combo, you know, that's not like your main game plan. You're more just playing like good you know, card quality type cards, and then hoping to win. You know, you still have those draws where you go, you know, Heritage Druid plus Glimpse and, you know, go off, but you also just have like a more value-centric game. Reclaimer gives you much more consistent access to Cradle, same with Once Upon a Time. And I think that that is a very powerful way to go about doing things, especially if you're me and always draw the Craterhoof Behemoth. Having more access to Cradle is really important. I'm joking a bit there. But yeah, so we are going to run this through a set. Newton did share their sideboard guide with me. However, I think it would be interesting to kind of fly blind through the league and work with my own intuitions and what I've seen out of him playing the deck, and then kind of go back later in my own time and see how he would have played differently or sided differently than me. I think that's like can be a nice way to learn how to, you know, like where your intuitions differ from like the really good players of an archetype is to try to solve the problems yourself first and then see what they say like the answer is, if that makes any sense. So that's what I'm going to be doing. No sideboard guide, flying blind, and I am very excited. Let's hop right in. Okay, we are here for round 1. We are on the play. Hand has a lot of Cradles, but it does have a Glimpse and a Heritage Druid, so I think this might be a keep. Opponent could be on a Wasteland strategy, Copium, you know, so they might waste the first Cradle. I'm going to keep. We'll see what happens. Obviously, if this Heritage Druid dies, we are not in the best of shape. But any land's a good draw at that point. It lets us play Visionary, and then any 1-mana Elf as well would be a reasonable draw. Alright, we're not dying. We're not dying. I think I do want to play the Visionary. Obviously, it plays into Daze, but if they Daze on turn 1, that's not terrible for me. And this is a better thing to, like, if Visionary resolves, it makes my Glimpse better later because I'm, like, deeper into my library. I've been told not to block Rag, but I'm gonna block Rag here just because it makes their turn done. If that makes any sense. Ooh, it's a good draw. I'm just gonna play these guys out. I suppose I could have... That was actually... Okay, so that was bad. I definitely rushed that turn a little too fast. What I should have done was played the Glimpse, see if it resolves, and then if it does, I can play... Oh, wait, no, because I don't... Nah. I think Glimpsing for one card there is bad. Never mind. Because I can't tap the Cradle for mana if I lead on Glimpse. I think I'm gonna rotate this Cradle into... No. What do I want to do here? I think I'm gonna rotate this Cradle into a Dryad Arbor and then play the other Cradle. I guess I could Cradle for Symbiote. Or Zenith for Symbiote. That doesn't sound that bad. But no, I think it's better to save Zenith for the Visionary. I guess Murktide Regent is a little annoying here. Expressive is fine. Okay. Interesting to hit that one instead of the Dryad Arbor. Yep, makes sense. Okay. I'll get the Arbor here. Natural Order is still a good draw, obviously. I will lead on the Glimpse. It's possible that I, ugh, gross. Yeah. Possible that I should have, like, held on to things for more Glimpse targets, but I think given my mana situation, what I did was probably fine. It was just that, like, all my stuff died, so, like, I didn't really have the option to have mana, you know? I don't know. It's possible I missed a line to, like, get a good glimpse, you know, and I could have waited, but with the Cradle, like, not tapping for any mana, I don't think I had any options or opportunities to do that. Okay. Yeah. Rough beats, just triple lightning bolt, Daze Force, like, okay. Yeah, this would have been a good draw last turn. I could have drawn 2 more cards. So yeah, I think I just kind of drew a little poorly there. So I want the Endurances, I want the Run Afoul, I want the Assassin's Trophy. I think that's it. Trim this, because I'm not great. I've heard this card's pretty bad when you don't have Elves in play, which is often the case here. Alright, I'm gonna do like this. Like, you could maybe make an argument for Decay, but I think that you don't really care about the other. The main creature you care about is Murktide Regent. Oh, this hand seems fine. I'm gonna lead with once and then Heritage Druid. I think I want to save the Shepherd potentially for a turn where I can Shepherd plus Natural Order in the same turn. Visionary is good. Oh, I did this in the upkeep. Not that it matters because it's turn 1, but it is kind of funny to do it in the upkeep. I'll get a basic forest here just so that they don't have the option to wasteland it. Daze is not great against Elves. I wouldn't be surprised if my opponent cut some number of them. And if their turn is dazing without a turn 1 play, then I'm like very happy, obviously. Glimpse is a good card. If they dash rag, I'll let it hit me. Because I want the 3 elves for this. Sure, also fine. If I draw another play, what I'm going to do is lead on the Shepherd so that the glimpse can't be countered. Sure. But if I don't, I'll lead on glimpse and see if that's countered, you know. That technically counts as a play. Can I do it though? Let's say I play this, then I glimpse, then I do this. I have 2 mana. No, I'm gonna lead on the glimpse. Now what I can do is tap these 3 for a green. I can untap this, bounce this. I'm 1 short of Natural Order, so I'm just going to cast this. Okay, cool. And I'd say we're in good shape. They have a damage-based sweeper. We're definitely in less good shape, but you have to remember, like, a lot of the cards replace themselves. Sure. So now I think it's pretty simple. We just get a Ouphe. Or maybe we're just supposed to pump our guys. It threatens lethal. That's actually kind of difficult. Because it's like I could show my opponent that I left in natural orders, and that might influence how they sideboard. I mean, I guess it's whatever, right? Like, can't be that bad. All right, taking it to game 3. Good. Do I want to make any changes on the draw? Maybe Glimpse gets worse on the draw. I can bring in like Once Upon a Time for like a little bit more consistency. That sounds bad, actually. Maybe something does get worse on the draw, and I do want the Once Upon a Time. Maybe the Grist is pretty. The Grist is pretty bad on the draw, but it does kill Murktide. Maybe Natural Order on the draw is worse. I could see that, actually. And it was like, even in that game, even though we won with the Natural Order, we definitely did not need it to win, if that makes any sense. And like, it'll be less good on the draw. They mulligan, so I'm gonna keep. You like that logic? So here I have options, of course. Again, because they didn't. I'm just gonna lead on this. Obviously, they're leaving up Lightning Bolt. But I think playing any other creature still seems kind of bad, and they might just not have it. I'm gonna lead with 1 Shepherd. I'm gonna play this to play around a damage-based sweeper a little bit. If it's like Pyroclasm, obviously I get got. Sure. Okay, yeah, so they definitely have a damage-based sweeper because like they just didn't bolt the Dryad Arbor. So I guess I lose. Yeah. Alright, well, that's rough. Also, just so you all know, there's an upgrade to this card in Crimson Vow that deals 1 to the opponent as well. It's just a strict upgrade. And also deals 1 to Planeswalkers that the opponent controls. I think it's called End the Festivities, so just a pretty clean swap there. I'm gonna play this, I guess. Protect my creatures a little bit. Like, you can play the Heritage Druid, I guess. Sure. Okay. But I just think it's not likely to survive for my 3rd mana, you know, if that makes sense. If we draw a land, we can play this Elvish Visionary. Nice. Right, and since we're already exposed to Wasteland, it's just fine to get the 2nd Bayou here. Do I want to attack for 1? I think so. I can't imagine there's any punish here. They must not have much of anything in their hand, huh? Okay, so I could... I'm gonna green sun for Symbiote. Maybe a green sun for... No, I'll green sun for Symbiote. Sure. I could, of course, bounce something in end step to make my glimpse a little better, but I think I don't want to do that. Because I want the 3 elves in play for Heritage Druid. They didn't shuffle, so that's bad for me. That's fine. They have Force Negation 2 unknowns. They're attacking. Interesting. I'll fetch for Dryad Arbor end step. I'm gonna save this. Yeah, I want to save this Assassin's Trophy for Merced Regent if they have it. But if they don't, I'm gonna just do it now. Little wait to have Steven's and basic out. I could see it. I'll get the Dryad Arbor. I feel like I drew creatures when I need to draw lands, and then lands when I need to draw creatures. Yeah, because this is the problem. It's just like... Now the glimpse doesn't resolve because they have the Force of Negation up, you know? And now they draw Merced Regent. Yeah, that was just like a series of unfortunate events for me. They had the Blazing Volley. I have no outs to this. Other than Grist. And then it's just like, there were multiple turns where if I just drew another creature, Glimpse would be a good play. and then I drew 3 lands in a row, and then I drew the 3rd lightning bolt to be able to counter this. Yeah, I think I got incredibly unlucky those games, but that does happen sometimes in Magic the Gathering. So we'll be back for round 2. All right, we are back for round 2. On the draw, hand seems good enough. I'm probably just gonna, sure. I'm probably gonna once, and then the Visionary seems correct. And then I'm actually gonna fetch Basic Forest still, even though I'm using Zenith for Dryad Arbor. So it's like I'm exposed to Wasteland, but what could happen is Wasteland plus Swords to Plowshares, which I don't want, to happen. So if my opponent had a Swords to Plowshares here, I would be unstuck on 0 mana. It'd be bad for me. This way I just get to play out the Visionary. I'm gonna save this because I might want to use it for a Bayou on future. Or sorry, not a Bayou, a Dryad Arbor. Double Wasteland, that's fine. Means that they're not wasting my Cradle, which is good for me. So I guess I go Birchlore, make a green, Symbiote, tap for 3, choose target creature to untap. I want to untap this one, and I want to return this one to my hand. And then I think I play out the Reclaimer. I'm not going to play out the Shepherd. I kind of want to keep that as a surprise. In their end step, I will bounce the Visionary if I'm given the option to. I'm not doing that. So 4, 5, yeah. So I can just Ouphe next turn. Oh wait, no, I can't. Well, I can, but I have to tap some number of things. Obviously not ideal. So I'm gonna fetch the Dryad Arbor because it's free because of Cradle. I'll play out this, and I will go to attack with any elves? No elves? I guess no elves, right? Because yeah, okay. It's just better to leave up this to rotate for something. Because if I attack with 3 things, they can just block. But I'm gonna play Ouphe next turn, and it will be way more than lethal. So like that doesn't really matter. So like getting in 5 damage, or 5 damage with 1 elf, just doesn't do anything. Okay, cool. We got there. Round 1. Or game 1, I guess, against Death and Taxes, which is already generally a good matchup, and the draw is also not great. I'm going to bring in a Force of Vigor, and I'm going to bring in a Decay. I'm going to bring in a Grist. And I'm going to bring in a Progenitus because I've been told that these are good things to bring in. I'm going to cut one Archon. I'm always trimming one of these. I don't know why, but I am. I'm going to trim the Endurance. I don't think it's great. It's like a good blocker, but like that's not what you really need usually. And then things I'm thinking of trimming. Heritage Druid, Glimpse. These seem bad to trim. Shepherd is interesting because it's like they don't play Force of... they don't play counter magic. So it's like... not great in that regard, but it is still like the threat of making your guys 5/5s is pretty real. Maybe I cut... oh, Zenith seems really important. I will cut one Heritage Druid. This hand is a little mana heavy, however, that is not that bad against the Death and Taxes deck. So I'm going to keep this. I can even Once Upon a Time in their upkeep if I really wanted to. But I probably won't do that. When it's on 5 cards, it's certainly not ideal for them. I think they rightfully understand that this is a rough matchup for them, so they have to look hard for like a good hand. So that's what they've done. Cage, okay. This doesn't stop this, right, though. So. But it does stop my Green Sun Zenith. So I don't want Cradle. I could just get Symbiote. Yeah. I'm going to do that, and then it can be my turn 1 play. Yeah, this lets me do things if they, I guess I can't fetch Dryad Arbor anyway, so I'm just going to get a second forest. But eventually I can start like doing this multiple times a turn, given if I get enough mana. That's fine. I suppose I could have attacked first to see if they swords it, but they probably would. Put your eye on hand. Okay. That's fair. That's fair, opponent. I'm going to attack for 1 first. Learn my lesson. Player on Solitude. Do I want to cast Glimpse, or is that a thing for next turn? I think that's a thing for next turn. Because this turn I'm just going to bounce and replay the Visionary. And then I get to bounce this end step and then go Glimpse, Shepherd, Visionary. Yeah, I'm gonna bounce this. This doesn't target, so I don't get to wait for them to like choose what they want to get. Okay, so I think, does that mean it's Glimpse time? No, right? Because unless I draw a 1-mana elf, it's just a draw 2. When it could be more. So I'm just gonna play this. How important is the Arbor? I'm gonna fetch the Thin. Like I could play the Arbor, and then like the nice thing about that is if I draw like another Symbiote, then it makes my Glimpse a little better because I get to untap Arbor. But I think the Glimpse will already be good because I'm tapping mana elves that tap for mana. Am I out of fetchables? Oh, for the second Misty. I am, because Arbor doesn't count. They chose not to wasteland me though, which is good. Oops. Okay, Force of Vigor is actually not bad because it lets me kill the cage. So as far as like Glimpse is that brick, it's like one of the better ones. Is there anything that punishes me for attacking? No, there's not. I'm saying that confidently so that it's true. We'll see. I doubt they have any board wipes. Cataclysm is not really played in the Orion builds of the deck. And they do? Alright, I lose. Yeah, so end of turn I can Force of Vigor, pitch one of the 2 green cards, not sure which one yet. And then untap in order. And then I can get Hoof or Hoof is lethal. I'm gonna get Zenith. I think. Or I'm gonna pitch Zenith, I think. Is that even right? Good pitch. I'll pitch Zenith. I think that the decay will be useful for stopping like some hate piece, like maybe a Containment Priest. Also, I'm just gonna draw Zenith, you know. I'm actually going to no. I'm going to I should have thought about my plays before I started having mana. Because what I can do is I'm worried about Containment Priest right now. So if I Natural Order and they Priest, what happens? I can tap 3 Elves, and then Abrupt Decay. And then what am I left with on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 creatures. And then 2 of them are attacking, so it's 12 plus 6, which is 18. So it would put them to 1, and they'd have to chump block. That's gotta be fine, right? Okay. That's smart. But this is still way more than lethal. It's maybe not quite lethal. I'm not tapping Elves anymore. Well, you know what? I don't actually care. I'm just gonna get the Craterhoof. It's probably good enough. Oh, it's definitely good enough. Yeah. 16 plus 8 is 24. Okay, cool. They could have saved some damage by solituding the Craterhoof instead of the other elf that they solituded, but I think it still would have been lethal. Anyway, okay, cool. 1-1, lost to Delver, beat Death and Taxes. I will be back for round 3. Alright, welcome back. We are here for round 3. This hand seems reasonable. Got some ramp. Got some ramp that I'm not playing on turn 1 because my opponent has percent. Okay. It's okay. Play it the next turn. Interesting to see what type of deck my opponent is on. So it could be like a very like artifact-centered deck with like Urza Saga and Stoneforge and all this stuff. And Sentinel is just like a good card to play. It could also be something more mid-rangey. See. Looks to be more mid-rangey, which is cool. We'll see if they're playing like Stoneforge Mystic or not. Okay. Works for me. And I'm gonna Green Sun for 0, but pay the extra mana so that Sentinel doesn't draw a card. Not sure if I should be playing around Wasteland. I guess there's only one black card in the deck that I would want to cast, which is Grist, so I'm gonna play around Wasteland. I will pay for Sentinel. Nice, okay. So this actually seems very similar to a list that I was playing the other month, where it's just like Jeskai with Esper Sentinel as like a reasonable thing to do early in the game. It's pretty good against Delver. I do have a video with that up on my channel, so you can go check out that deck. It looks like something that you would be interested in. I'm gonna do this again. Oh no! Ah! I fucked that up pretty hard. Quite hard, actually. I wanted to do it for 0 and pay the 1, but I tapped both my mana at once, so did Green Sun Zenith for 1. So that's rough. I gave my opponent a card that I absolutely did not need or want to. So a bit annoying there. Sure. We'll see if it ends up mattering. Obviously. If it's the deck I'm thinking about, there's not much they can do against Archon for instant. Okay, so they're playing Wastelands. My list was not playing Wastelands, which is fine. So I'm going to just hold up Endurance. I'm not casting this Green Sun Zenith. I've learned my lesson. If they go to kill my thing, I have to play the Endurance in response because how the game works. See if they attack. If they don't attack, I might not cast the Endurance. I'll have to see. Yeah, I'm just not gonna cast it. Because like I don't really have much to do with my mana anyway, and I want them to attack, you know? And so they might think, oh, they would have played the Endurance if they had it. Okay. Well, looks like I'm going to... Alright, so they're just not going to play into it, which, who knows? Could be smart, could be dumb on their part. I'm not sure. So I'm going to get a Collector Ouphe. Or am I just getting... No, I'll get Ouphe. Pang. And I'll leave back this guy. This guy, you know? Okay, true name. So at this point, I'm basically just like trying to build up a board until I can cast Natural Order. Because if I Natural Order now, it's not enough damage. I'll pay for this guy. Maybe I don't pay. No, I'll pay for the guy. I'll pay for the guy. Yes. Hoping to find a 1-mana elf here. Reclaimer accounts. I could get Druid. No, Reclaimer's better. And then I'm just going to cycle the Glimpse now because it's not getting taxed. So now they need removal spell for Shepherd plus Force blue card. Which they may have, you know. Certainly possible. Well, they don't have it. I volunteer this one as tribute. Pay for your guy. Okay, so small misstep there. Gave my opponent one extra card that they did not need. But we are going to pull it out. All right, interesting. Okay, so this could just be straight up blue-white Stoneblade with Astral Sentinel, which is really cool. I think given that we didn't see any red mana and we saw True Nemesis, this is likely what it's to be. Now, what is it? Does that mean I want anything interesting, like specific? Probably the Force of Vigor because Sentinel is an artifact. I could see that. Maybe the Grist and the Decay. That's like ways to hit the things. And then I guess I want this as a better target. The Endurance probably isn't good. Like, it was decent there to like stop their attacks, but I think in most games it's not very useful. I don't play things like Uro, so I don't think it's something I want. Sentinel is a really interesting card. I think it is good. It's just kind of hard to find a shell where it works. Because like you kind of want like a couple ways to increase its power. The taxing effect gets better in the late game, you know. Because the problem with Sentinel is it falls off really hard in the late game. It's very good early game. It falls off very hard late game. But if you can increase its power, it maintains relevancy in the late game. And like Stoneforge Mystic getting equipment is a good way to do that. But I think a lot of the equipment that you would get in a blue deck is kind of bad. This hand seems fine. I have the Zenith for Arbor that I've talked about. The big thing is just Batterskull is not what it used to be in your blue decks, because it's like you want that to be your defensive tool, but Murktide Regent just like laughs at that card. And College of Complete, when you're playing blue, you're not racing as well, so it's like College is not really a card that's like an improvement to the blue-white Stoneblade decks. It's really a really good improvement to the Death and Taxes decks, because those slant a good deal more aggressive. Oops. Would I just play Grist turn 2? It's very good if it resolves. The problem is they play Daze. We'll see what they get. They probably are playing Kaldra, but I do think it's not a good card in the style of deck. It does make my decision a little bit easier, I guess. Maybe I just want to play Grist so that... no, because they just don't Daze it, right? And they just play the Cauldron and kill it. Yeah, I'll do this. Maybe I want some number of Thoughtseize. Take the equipment sometimes. Possible. I don't think I do, though. I guess this guy is free. Because it makes a mana. I guess it does force me to tap this guy, but I'm getting Progenitus anyway. I literally don't have a another option. Okay. It did have Force of Will. Unfortunate. I'll attack for 1. If I draw Cradle, I can Ouphe next turn. That's something to look forward to, I guess. They could also just have another equipment in hand and I'm boned. Maybe I do want like 1 or 2 Thoughtseize just to like snipe a important play. Because like if I had a Thoughtseize, obviously I'm not cutting either of these cards for it. Like if I had a Thoughtseize, like I could take the Force and then go for the play. And maybe it does just like take a lot of pressure off me. YOLO. Okay, sure. So that's fine. Not much I can do about that, really. I mean, there's a double force Stoneforge. Alright, yeah. Right. I will bring in Thoughtseize. Like I said, I don't think this is a good card in the deck. But in this matchup specifically, if my draw is a little bit slow, it can be good against me. Maybe Grist is not great because they play like True Name and stuff. I guess I could have played the Grist on turn 2 and minus to kill the Stoneforge, and that would have been good. Something I wasn't thinking about. I'll draw one glimpse. Be a little awkward to draw multiple, so I'm not like already doing good things. Maybe Force of Vigor isn't good. No, because they play the Sentinels. They might have sided out the Sentinels though, as part of it. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna leave with one Shepherd, and then I will save the other one until I'm ready to do big things, assuming that the first one dies. But I think this card is pretty useful to save because of the glimpse. And I could just go now, right? Like, it's funny, right? Because I can just glimpse. Sorry, I can play Heritage Druid, Cradle, tap for 2 mana, glimpse down to 1 mana, Shepherd down to 0 mana, but then I make 3, and then I play Symbiote, and then I draw a card, and then I, yeah, let's just do that. We'll lead on this one. Maybe I should have led on. Not sure, right? So, yeah, I want to play these two out now. Okay, so choose target creature to untap. This one. Return an elf you control to its owner's hand. This one. Play this out. Play this out. I could Thoughtseize this turn, but I think that's not a good use of my mana. And I can still Thoughtseize this turn. I will. I will take Brainstorm. It's possible that Blazing Volleys are only out and I should have taken Ponder, actually. Because, like, they're dead next turn, you know? Okay. I should have taken Ponder, because Ponder sees 1 extra card. That was actually pretty fucking bad. Okay, well, that will not save you. Okay, yeah, so I'm just going to attack for lethal. Okay, and we got there. Interesting match, interesting deck. But yeah, I'll be right back for the end of set review. All right, welcome back to the end of set review. We went 2-1. Our loss was to Blue-Red Delver, and we were able to beat Death and Taxes and a Blue-White Stoneblade type of deck with Esper Sentinel and Trinium Nemesis. I liked the list a lot. I wouldn't really... I'm certainly not experienced enough to suggest any changes. I think that Newton is a really, accomplished Elves player and has put a lot of thought and effort into his card choices. And so I definitely agree with them all. He has felt very strongly, and I think the numbers bear that out, that this deck does have a good Blue-Red Delver matchup. So it will be interesting to kind of go back and see if there were spots I could have played better or sideboarded differently, because that is something to think about. If the good players feel that this has a good Delver matchup and the stats bear that out, there's a more likely chance that I maybe did something wrong in those games. Other than that, deck felt really fun. We didn't play against any combo in the set, but like I said in my previous league, I do feel like combo is pretty close, especially if you have Leylines for the graveyard combo decks, so like Ouphe and Reanimator and things like that. So this is definitely a fair strategy that doesn't play Force, that I definitely would feel maybe comfortable playing more going forward and learning how to play it at a higher level for potentially a big event, things of this nature. Reclaimer was really good. Shepherd was obviously really good. I kind of personally like that this sort of card exists. I know it sounds kind of crazy because it's one of the cards that people complain about a lot. However, I think that if you are going to play a fair deck that doesn't have Force of Will, if you want to do that sort of thing, there needs to be strong incentives to put down the blue cards in Legacy, because the blue cards in Legacy are so incredible. And so you want people to have strong draws to playing other strategies. And I think a card like Shepherd, where it is obviously very good against fair decks, but it is still vulnerable. It is still a 1/1. I think it's a good push and pull. I prefer this much more than something like Cavern of Souls, which is just much harder to interact with for most decks, whereas Shepherd is it's a very strong allure into a fair non-blue strategy in Legacy, but also is something that you can interact with if you just put the cards in your deck to interact with it. So yeah, those are the games. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all soon. Bye everyone.